a lot of individuals come seeking guidance. They receive guidance, but sometimes I guess maybe they don't understand the guidance, and they come back asking more questions about the same thing, and the guidance is still the same. So I think there needs to be some clarification, maybe. Maybe the wording is not good enough for them. I don't know, honey. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, from what I've seen, and you're right, because it happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's good that individuals are seeking guidance from, or for their lives.
Right.
And I'll say from the Ascended Masters because that's where we get the information from.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they might choose to say it's from somewhere else, source or divine intervention, whatever
it may be. Mm-hmm.
But for us, it's the Ascended Masters. And what we've seen is that the guidance is given, but then I get the impression, well, let me put it this way, forget about my impression.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, someone asked for guidance about how should I deal with my teenage daughter, right?
Right.
Because maybe the communication is not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And so we send a message back and we let them know, listen, right now your question is not the most important thing. We're going to work on the relationship. Are you interested in working the relationship? And they'll normally say what?
Yes.
And so then work is done, the angels go and get to work on the relationship itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden things improve in the relationship. But then we get another message saying, well, how do I deal with my teenage daughter? Now to me, it's very clear what the guidance is. And the guidance is, okay, things have improved, so whatever it is you're doing now, keep doing that. Why are you concerned about how to work with your teenage daughter when before you guys weren't getting along, but now you're getting along? Does not tell you already that things have been corrected?
Right, but I think maybe that still some of the issues are there, and that's what the individual might be looking at.
And that's where we talk about being open to the guidance, right?
Right.
Sometimes someone comes and they're asking for guidance of one thing, and then what the Ascended Masters or angels or spirit guides see as most important has very little to do with that question at the moment, even though they're related.
Okay.
But these individuals want their question answered.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, because you're the one that communicates with them, I think that you've made it very clear to them that there are priorities. We don't know what the priorities are. We just follow the guidance that we get.
Right.
Yes, they want a better relationship with she wants a better relationship with her daughter, but right now let's work on the relationship. Well, actually they're kind of tied. You know, not
right.
Maybe she didn't want a better relationship with her daughter, but that's really what she's asking. When I say, how do I deal with my teenage daughter? She's asking, how do I have a better relationship with my teenage daughter?
Right. I mean, maybe the daughter has, done some things that the mother doesn't agree with, but even though that communication is more open between her and her daughter, she's still not addressing the situations herself to get it taken care of, and she wants it to be taken care of by someone else. Could that be the possibility?
Either that, right? Or because she asked that direct question, she wants the answer to that direct question instead of watching what's going on in her life to see how what's happening in her life is addressing that concern that she has. So instead of people are used to this, I ask you a question, give me an answer, right?
Right.
Well,
they're not used to having to watch, observe, and do their own research and figure out what's happening.
It's not even about research. It's just about being patient and watching what's happening, how things unfold. Mm-hmm. All right? It's in one of the recordings you talked about instant gratification.
Yes. We live in a society of instant gratification. If I'm going to ask you for something, I expect you to answer me now and give me what I want.
So here we are, someone asks for guidance, and they expect the answer right now.
Correct.
And they don't realize that by asking the question, in many cases, their spirit guides, right? Mm-hmm. the Ascended Masters and the angels go to work to correct the situation with regards to that question. So it's not it's not a counseling session where you go and you sit down and then they ask you a question and you answer, you ask a question, they answer. I think that's what people expect. Here, it's about getting to work immediately. You have a concern about this? Okay, let's help you fix it. All right?
Now see how things unfold
Exactly.
and work with it.
Bingo.
I think part of the challenge, and this is just a thought that popped in my head, could be because of the expectation that has been put out there when dealing with people who do spiritual work. You know, they call themselves psychics and stuff, and when you, from my experience of watching things on TV, you go to someone and they're going to tell you, okay, this is what you need to do, this is how you're supposed to do it, you should take this job, you should do that, you should, and they're just told exactly what to do. Now, whether it all works out for them, I have no idea. If the people follow it, I don't know. But from what we do, I think maybe that's something that I need to start addressing with individuals, is that you have to start paying attention, because you're you know, in control of your life, and you need to pay attention to what's happening in your family. If you're working with your daughter, be open to what's happening. You're not just going to be given a blanket answer sometimes. Sometimes you might be.
Exactly. And that's the key, right? Sometimes you're given specific instructions.
But otherwise, if you're working on balancing something with someone, you have to go through it, from what I understand.
Exactly.
So in order to do that effectively, you really do have to pay attention. You know, yes, you've got a million other things going on in your life, but what's the most important thing at this time to you? Your relationship with your daughter? So pay attention to it. That's how I'm seeing it and understanding it now. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that properly?
Right, but except I want to make a modification to your statement, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'm just spewing out thoughts.
You said that what's most important to them. Well, that's not necessarily accurate. It's what's the most optimal thing for them.
Oh, got it.
From
Okay.
what the Ascended Masters, from what their spirit guides see. And that's where I remember a long time ago, we had a gentleman that came to us years ago. And he said, I want to have a better relationship with my son. Remember that? It was a long time ago.
If it's the right person.
And,
I've had so many.
Right, and he was told, well, no, actually it wasn't about the relationship with his son, it was about his health.
Oh.
And then he was told, no, we need to work on your relationship with your son first.
Oh.
Is what it was. Because that's important to you. And later on he realized, yes, that is the most important thing to me, the relationship with my son. And it dawned on him, oh, okay. So he came with one thing, but realized when it was pointed out to him, no, this is more important, so let's handle this first. He was open to that. And I believe that that's what folks should be aware of. We've had so many individuals that come with a whole list of questions.
Right.
And they're told, we'll deal with the questions later. Right now, there are other issues that have to be taken care of.
Right.
You know, and so going back to your question about, okay, so is that accurate, what you were saying? Yes, you know, people should be aware, they should pay attention, not just to what's going around them, but the guidance that they receive as far as, here's what is being worked on, okay? And just be patient and see how this unfolds and watch how it affects the concerns that you have.
Now, they should also work toward themselves being the person that they think would be best for the whole family and everything, right? Or in this case, the daughter.
Well, they'll be guided.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That they'll be guided in that, but not guided as in words all the time.
Right.
Going back to what you said, they should pay attention. Well, all of a sudden they might feel like, oh, I should go take a walk. Well, go take your walk, and it might be something you've never done before, you know. Or all of a sudden, going back to the teenage daughter example, right?
Right.
We don't have anybody with that, by the way. That's
We
just an
don't.
example. The teenage daughter might say, "Oh, Mom, you know, could we cook something in the kitchen, or you want to help me with this?" Or and we've talked about this one, where your child might decide to just prepare something just to surprise you, and you look at it and say, "Oh, Jesus, these eggs are really burnt. They're like terrible." And they say,
Yes.
"Oh, Mom, Dad, you know, I made this
I want
for
you to try this food I cooked for
Exactly.
you, and you're looking at it going, oh no, I don't want to do that. that? Well, they worked hard at it. It's their
Exactly.
pride and joy. So even if you
You're
don't
not
like
gonna
the
die.
taste of it, just try it.
Right, you're not gonna die. Carbon is good for you. You're made of carbon. That's from chemistry, right? So, and that's how you encourage them, and that's how the communication gets built. How the relationship is built.
Right.
Because now they realize, oh, mom, dad, they love my cooking, and then they have the confidence to go cook something else, and they get better at it.
Right.
So these things, when you say you alluded to about paying attention to, these are the things that someone should pay attention to.
Got
Their
it.
own behavior and being acceptable or accepting to things that normally maybe they'll say no to, right? And that's how guidance works. It's not necessarily us getting back to you and saying, you should do this and eat your kids' burnt eggs. No, it's more like, it's subtle in many cases, and I've seen that more and more. It's really subtle because you have a free will, and the Zen masters will not infringe on your free will. So when they give you guidance, that's it. You'll decide if you'll do it, how far you'll go. But if you pay attention, you'll start to see lots of things that kind of fit. Then just follow that. We said in one recording, be open to what they have to share with you. So just be open.
Right.
You might not see how it fits. How many times have I said, I don't see how this works? I don't even know how it's going to work out. Right? I said many times, but I know it will, but I don't know how.
Right.
And it could be scary at times. You're in a situation like, holy mackerel, how? I don't get it, but
I was
they'll
told
take
it's
care of
going
it.
to work out.
Exactly.
This is going to be fun to see how it unfolds. So,
And if you have that attitude, then that's a good attitude. Because you won't be scared. It's more like, oh, wow, okay, let's see how it works out. Next thing is this, that individuals will contact us and then they'll say, well, I know you told me one thing before for guidance, but has it changed because of this situation?
right, yes.
Right.
They ask that a lot. The answer is no. The guidance doesn't change.
Right.
Something might change in the situation, but the guidance is still the same.
Think about it this way. Here the Ascended Masters looking down on us, right? I don't mean looking down as in a bad way, as in they're up there and actually they're
Right.
not. They're with us right here. So let me correct that.
They're just looking
They're
upon our
looking.
situation.
Right. And they read our karmic record. They know what's going on with us. Why would guidance change? You think it goes like this? Well, oh wow, I didn't think about that happening. So let me let them know that the guidance has changed. They know everything. They see everything. They see way into we call it future where they are. It's not a future, right?
Right.
It's a different dimension. There is no time there, no timeline. But they see way ahead of us. So when they guide us, they know what's going to happen because they already see it. So to think that guidance will change, that's not accurate. Guidance doesn't change. Guidance is the way it is. Now, what could happen is maybe when you asked a question, you weren't very specific about something, and so when I asked the question, I asked it based on my understanding of your question. So then when you come back, and then you say, oh, that's not really what I meant, this is what I meant. Well, guidance didn't change. Your guidance based on your question was that, whatever it was.
Right.
Based on your new question,
It's a different question now.
exactly.
The guidance could be different for this new question.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay? And maybe that's when people think that guidance has changed.
Probably because they think it's all related, but the question is very different than the initial one they gave, even though it sounds like it's similar. They're different. So the guidance will be different
Oh, yes.
depending on how you ask.
So you have to know how to ask the right question. And that's why now we just tell people, just tell us what your concern is.
Right. Tell us the
Okay.
concern, we'll figure out the question and get you the
we'll
answer.
question. Exactly. And then we go beyond what they would come up with. And that's how we come up with the proper guidance for them. The other thing is this. The angels, your spirit guides, the Ascended Masters, they're there to help us. They're not there to run our lives. You alluded to this a while back. Either in this video earlier or the previous one. So, you should not expect them to take you step by step through something. Alright? That might happen, but that rarely happens.
Right.
Right, and
It's
it did
not
take-
like a recipe.
Exactly. Alright? And when that happens, it's because of a specific situation where they really have to do it that way. And right now, from the top of my head, I don't have an example, but I know
Neither do
it's happened
I.
in the past. I've had individuals that have contacted us and said, well, why am I not getting a specific date and other people have gotten specific dates? I said, well, because for you, you don't need it. You know, for one person, they're told, oh, you're going to move, you'll have a new job in 6 months, right?
Right.
And then someone else said, you'll have a new job. When? I wasn't told, but you'll have a new job. Well, can't you tell me when? If they don't tell me when, how can I tell you when?
Right.
And your question might be, well, then why don't they tell me when? I don't know, because I don't go like this. Spirit guides for my wife, why aren't you telling me when she's going to get a new job? I don't ask them those questions.
Right.
Because I know that they're not telling me because it's not time for me to know. And when the time comes, they'll let me know. So that's where the patience comes in and the understanding that they have your best interest in mind. Because when your questions are not answered, you might start to get skeptical, like, well, I don't know about this, and they should tell me why. And maybe it goes back to what you said about individuals that are out there that will give you specific timelines and who knows what else, and maybe that's accurate. But if I don't get that, we're not giving you that, right? So they're not here to run anybody's life at all. So sometimes you might say, we get a lot of questions about, should I divorce my husband, right?
Yes. Should I stay with my partner?
Right. And what's the normal response to that?
Usually, some work will be done with the relationship, and let's see how things go.
Exactly, right? You'll
See how things develop.
Right, and then you'll decide that. Can you imagine the Ascended Masters telling somebody, oh yeah, divorce your husband?
No, I don't think they would do that because.
No, but you know how wrong that is?
Right.
First of all, you're taking away their free will from making a decision. Not only that, you're telling them to do something that might not even be the right thing for them to do. You know, and on top of that, karma, we have to balance karma. So we don't walk away from a situation.
Right.
So for any relationship, any one of you that's in a relationship, maybe you're questioning right now, just trust the guidance that you get. And the time will come that either you guys will go your separate ways or you'll stay together. It's only one or two options. That's it. One or two. Or one of the two options, actually. Right? And then but the thing is that if you decide, if it happens, not you deciding, but if it happens that you're going to go your separate ways, it's going to be amicable. There'll be no hard feelings, no negative energy. So then when you go off, you're open now and free to start a new relationship that's more positive, that's more beneficial for you and the person that you might get involved with. If you just break it off, believe me, you're going through that same cycle you just left. And that's why you just go through the guidance that you get. That's what we always ask people. Are you interested in working in a relationship? And if they are, let's see what happens. That doesn't mean that you'll be with a person. It just means exercise the patience and know that the time will come when you'll get the definite answer to your question. Should I divorce this person? It will come. You'll know. But the Ascended Masters won't tell you yes or no. We will never tell you yes or no. We just go and do the work on the relationship. I hope that helps somebody.
I hope so too.
And that's what most questions that I ask, you know. Should I do this? Should I do that? You know, they will give you guidance, you know, but pay attention to it. They're not here to run your life.
Right.
You know.
You have to exercise your free will.
Exactly. You'll make your decisions. And the final thing I want to say about this is, there are times when we give, many times when we relay guidance to somebody, and then the person gets back in touch and says, well, what does this mean? Could you explain this to me? Well, I have nothing to explain. I simply give the guidance. We simply give the message. That message will make sense to you if you pay attention to it. Please don't ask us for the meaning of the message.
We won't interpret anything for you.
We're going to we'll interpret a dream.
Well, yes, we'll interpret the dream, but not guidance.
Not guidance.
We're not going to try and tell you what the guidance means for you because we don't know. It's not. We're not in your situation.
And we're not going to try to guess what it means either. when the ascended masters give you guidance, they know that you'll understand it. It might not make sense to you in the beginning, but you spend time on it or just go through with time, you'll see how it all unfolds and it makes sense to you. But we're not here to explain it.
Okay.
We're not the all-knowing, all-seeing. We simply relay the message. And I really don't want to be interpreting or say, it could possibly mean this, or what do you think it means? Could it mean this? Don't get in touch with us, ask us what it could mean, because we will not answer that question. Just so you know, it's nothing personal, but that's not the way that things should be done. You have your free will, and we'd like to see you exercise your free will, along with the guidance that you receive. So
Okay.
I wanted to clarify, or make that clear about guidance itself.
All right, that makes sense. If this video has helped you and you think it will help someone else, please be sure to share it, like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is 190 Vision, Instagram and Facebook. You can find us at 190 Vision as well, and our website, 190vision.com.